Hey Bronze Brigade, welcome to the show. In this video, we talk about comic books that are on the hot comic trending list from Key Collector, COVRPRICE, and from the CBSI Hot 10, and I recommend 5 comic books that I think are the worst investments on that list. Hi, I'm Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and we're going to get right into it this week, starting off at number 5. And we are starting off the list with one of my least favorite modern types of spec, which is a ratio variant. This is Realm of X number 1, the 1 in 100 Chris Bocciolo variant. Despite being a fan of Chris's work, I don't really enjoy this cover in any type of particular way, and it feels a little bit like just, hey, there's a cool 1 in 100 out this week, let's invest in it. And I don't like that type of investment. There's not really much going on for key value of this book. For me to buy into a 1 in 100, there's got to be something going on, some special artwork or something other than just it's a cool cover. That's all this one really is, so that's why it lands on the list for me this week. And interestingly enough, the next few books on the list are ones that I really enjoy. Coming at the number 4 spot, we have X Factor number 1 from the original volume 1. And I actually think X Factor is an underappreciated run. I really enjoyed that run. I think Walt and Louise Simonson did a fantastic job on the early parts of it, and it's a great book. But really, I don't think there's any reason for that book to rise up. It's a kind of a staple $10 to $15 book in most conditions, most of the time when I see it, and I think there's no reason for it to rise above that right now. I love this book. I love everything about it, but I don't view it as being a valuable book. It's just a fun book. It's kind of the epitome of that number one. Number ones sell, new series, new launch, it's always going to sell. And this is a really good version of that. It has some cool meaning at the time because it was the return of the original 5 X-Men, which was really neat to see on a team. But yeah, there's not much else going on here. So that brings me to another book that I think is also really awesome, Marvel Special Edition Star Wars number 1. And this is a reprint. It's a oversized reprint. It's really cool. I don't think it is anything that should be held to the standards of Star Wars number 1, though. It just doesn't go that far for me. It is kind of in that realm of really cool reprints. And that's neat, but it doesn't need to rise in value or be a hot book. Which does bring me to Star Wars 81 at the number 2 spot on the list. Star Wars 81 is well, I've actually always really enjoyed this cover. That's actually what I would say about this book, but it tells the story of Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit, and that we saw that happen in a TV show, and that show wasn't popular. Why is this on the list this week? It makes no sense to me. Increase in sales, so what? Yeah, I'm good on this book for now. I don't think I would ever overpay for this book. I would definitely wait for this to dip back down. So this takes me to number 1 book on the list this week, which is Spawn 306, the NetherRealm variant. So the thing about this book, if for some history on it, is that it was part of a Mortal Kombat event that took place during COVID, so it had very low attendance, and the copies were given out to attendees. And that was such a low number that apparently most people believe there was only about 50 copies in existence. That seems like an extremely small number for a promotional comic to me, but that's the number that people thought for a long time existed for this book. According to the editor-in-chief at McFarlane Productions, they believe that only 50 copies have survived because the rest of the copies were going to be destroyed at the event. Okay, that's some flawed logic right there, first of all. But, they said they trusted the people at the event. They didn't want to pay for the shipping back. Okay. Sounds like a problem to me. But anyways, that's what they decided to do. Fast forward to last month, where a seller named Bucky's Books over on Instagram claimed to have 71 copies of the book, or actually even more than that, as was later revealed on Bronze and Modern Gods, which was an excellent episode. I recommend going and checking out that interview they did with the seller. And he tells the whole story there. He says he bought 100 copies of this book, auctioned off 71 at once to find the true price of the book, his words. And so now we're at this point where the book is in free fall, and from the original value, because it sold like 5,500 at one point, and now we're down to around 350 on it. But now you also have a lot of eyeballs on this comic book, so it's going to be interesting tracking it long term, but I have a feeling it'll continue to dip for a while. It may go back up at some point in the future. It definitely might do that. I just don't think it's going to happen right now, and I wouldn't pay for it with all the buzz and hype around it unless you're a really big Spawn fan. If you're a really big Spawn fan and you have to have this book, yeah, I still would time my auctions pretty carefully. That's what I'd recommend, but I do get it. You know, if you're a completionist, that you're going to need this book at some point. So I get that. Do you get it? What do you think about Spawn 306, the NetherRealms version? Would you be spending big dollars on this book right now? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're furiously typing out your comment down there, let me just take a second to thank my channel members who have been a huge help to me with this channel and provide a lot of the services that I use with their funds, a lot of things I do for like free shipping, for giveaways, all that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate that. And everybody else watching, I really appreciate you checking out this video. It does mean a lot to me. And I do want to hear your thoughts on my list down in the comments and your thoughts on other things about comic books. Let me know what you're thinking. Till next time, I just want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.